Hey, hold on, what you doing? Don't start thinking about the hero banner and every other testimonial section in the footer just yet. We've created a header. Of course, remember, headers can be a great way to ensure that you're grounding your visitor when they come to look at your website with the logo, what you're about, maybe your social icons. Could even have a contact number on there as well. But all we've done is create it for the desktop. What about the tablet and the mobile? If you don't check them out and get them right now, okay, you're making your life harder later on down the line, especially if you've got tons more pages. Now, with Elementor, when you're in your page or your header template, down here you'll see the option for responsive mode. You need to click that, and then these options will appear at the top for desktop, tablet, and for mobile. Now, I'm just going to focus on the mobile here, but you would repeat the steps I'm going to talk about for the tablet as well. You can already see it's gone a bit funny there. In fact, when we go to mobile, it now looks like quite ugly. You got to be honest here, right? It's not looking great at all. One thing I will mention though, when you are looking at it in a mobile mode, I always set my width to be 378. It's kind of the standard width size for an iPhone XR or that size. And yes, I know there's loads of bigger sizes out there, but you got to think about the wider market and majority and what size they might have. Not everyone is going to have Pro or big Android size phones, okay? So 378 is a pretty good size there. Now, as you can see, the logo is kind of there and it's kind of stretching all the way across 100% of our width. We then have the social sharing icons 100%, and then we have the mobile 100%. So we need to start adjusting this. Now, column 1, okay, I'm going to go over here and it says 100%. Let's change that to be 45. Now, when I do 45%, that has now shrunk. You can actually see where the line ends. It ends just about there. And the logo is now too big. So let's click the logo. I'm going to go to Style. Now for the desktop, I said 200 pixels, and it has maintained 200 pixels. But can you see here, we have width and width, but this is now for the mobile. Rather than it being pixel, I'm now going to pick percentage, and I'm going to say 100% for the width and the max width. So if I was to now start increasing the size of this column, okay, let's go with 60%. It's 100% of the column. Let's put that back to 45. I think 45 looks okay. You can still read it. You can still see the image as well. Now we go to column 2. Column 2 is still 100%. You do the maths here. 100 take away 45 equals 65. No, it's not. It's 55. Okay? Just checking on you on there. That now fits. It doesn't look great though, does it? Because look, now it looks a little bit kind of cramped. So let's sort that out. Let's first go to the social sharing icon, okay? That is currently set to be to the left, to the right. Let's go to the style of that, and I can see they're quite spaced out. So if I go to spacing here, I can adjust it. In fact, all that's doing is making it smaller. I'm now going to touch the padding over here just to shrink them a little bit more. So that was to do with the circle of the original social sharing icons. So let's just add in a little bit of padding there. Something like that will do. Don't worry about how close they are to the top and bottom. We are going to adjust that. Let's then go over to the not the social sharing icon, the navigation menu even. I'm going to just undo all of the settings within there in the margin. In fact, we'll do it for the social sharing icon as well. So let's just click the navigation menu. And I'm going to go over here. Now at the moment, it says the layout is to the right. But this is not to the right. That's because you have to scroll down here and go for the toggle align. Let's now put that to the right. Now, we did add some margin over here. I think, well, we haven't added margin, but it's gone all the way to the right. So I'm going to click on the navigation, go to my margin, and I'm going to move this over to the right just a little bit so it just sits nicely underneath the Instagram logo. Now, I am doing this on purpose. And then I'm going to stick them all into one line. So don't sit there shouting at the screen. Why don't you just make it one line? You've got the space to fit it. I know that, but I just want to show you something before we do that, okay? The navigation menu, can you see the color there? It's not right. It's not matching the color of our background. It stands out like a sore thumb. In fact, if I click it, look what it's doing. All of a sudden, our menu has expanded in a very weird way. Do you remember one of the settings I told you about? Let's just click on here, go back to content. Can you see here it says full width? Now you might look at that and go, well, I don't want it to be the full width. I want it to be a tiny width or whatever. The full width is what controls how your menu is going to open. Now look at it. It opens full width rather than pulling down your header, which looks really odd if you've got a logo that moves up and down alongside it. Okay, so let's just close that. In fact, no, we'll leave it open. At the minute, the align is aside. Let's set that to be center. Can you see what's happened there? It's now centered. We are now going to go over to our style. Now, our typography for our main menu was Lato 300. And yeah, that was just Lato 300. And we left it just as a standard size. I'm going to go to the drop down. And I'm going to set the typography for this to also still be Lato 18300. I'm going to leave it as that. I am actually going to change the size, because I just said I won't, but I am going to change the size because I think the standard size is a little bit small. So I'm going to go over here to typography, and rather than it being the standard size, I'm going to make this be an REM of 1.3. Now when I click it, it's a little bit bigger. Can you see that? And now I'm going to set the color. So the text color will be as is, but the background will now be light. When it is active, when you hover, it will be the Goldilocks color. We'll have light. And when it's active, again, it will be back to how it was, and we'll still have the light color there. Let's go to toggle. The background color will be light, and the actual color will make the same as text. And I'm just going to make this be the text and the same background color as well. So if we now update that, okay, and I'm just going to go back over here to the drop down, not the drop down, the main menu, not the main menu, sorry, the drop down. And if I just scroll down until I get to vertical padding, I'm going to make this be about 22, and you'll see what's happening in a moment. Let's just hit update. Now there is one problem. Can you see that we get our wording? We get our spacing between them. They're not cramped up now because I did a bit of horizontal spacing there. But can you see a white line there? Because there's a bit of separation going on between the navigation menu and the drop down. That's because we adjusted some of the margins and things. But this is really simple to sort out. What you do is while you're in style, you'll see the word divider, and underneath there you have distance. If you increase it, it increases, obviously. If you decrease it, it decreases. But go too far and you're going to end up doing this. And it might be that maybe you want that, but I would not recommend doing that. So I'm just going to drop it down to be something like 0 there. And it's always kind of a little bit odd why it doesn't already do that. But if you hit 0, it kind of does it for you. But you can be methodical with your placement, how you want to do that. Let's hit update there. So now we have a working navigation menu for the mobile. However, we're eating up a lot of estate on the mobile, especially as this is a sticky header. Look, let me show you. If I scroll up and down, can you see? It is sticky because we set it when we did the desktop. It is sticky. But we're eating up a fair chunk there, right? Let's get these all to be on one line. So I'm going to go over here to the social sharing icon, go to advanced, go to width, and make that be custom. I'm going to go to the navigation menu. I'm going to go to advanced, width, make it custom. Ooh, look at that. They've all gone into one line now. I mean, they're not perfectly aligned. So I'm now going to click on the column. And if you ever get uncertain over what you're clicking, okay, let me just go here. When you use the navigator option, which is there's our section. There's column 1 with the logo. And then over here we have our second column with the social sharing icon and the navigation menu, okay? Let's just go to the column. And I'm going to go here to where we have vertical and say make sure that is set in the middle, okay? So let's just undo that. So can you see there the navigation menu then moves into the middle and it's now perfectly aligned. And for the horizontal align, if I do end, they go to the end. If I go center, they go to the center. But if I do this where I say space evenly, we get some nice spacing and it's not too close to the left or right and it's not too close to the logo. You could go for space around as well. I mean, I actually think the space around works a little bit better for the way it is. So let's now just view that. That's not looking too bad, I have to say, okay? I mean, actually, I lie. I lie. I'm lying here because actually what I would prefer to do is set it to be to the, let's go to horizontal align. Let's set it to be to the end. So it's going over to the end more. And that looks fine to me. I might click on the social sharing icon and add a little bit of about 10 pixels just to space it away a little bit from the navigation menu. So I've gone to an incognito window and look, you can clearly see it's working absolutely fine, okay? And the page can't be fine because haven't built the page yet, but by working on the mobile and getting it to look right with any padding or margins or anything like that, you're making your life a lot more smoother and easier when you come to preview things. And I thoroughly recommend that you do this for your tablet and your mobile. I mean, I'll just go to tablet right now. The tablet, luckily, is kind of following in a lot of the colors. However, we don't have the correct sizing. So if I was to go over here to the social sharing icon, the width is still default. So don't just kind of walk away going, well, I've done it for the mobile, it must be okay there as well. No, it's not. So you might need to go in and start to adjust your settings again. So there we go. For the tablet, we've now adjusted it. And please don't start going, well, that's a heck of a lot of work I've got to do here. No, it's not. Like I said, get the basics right and it's going to help you. And if you get your mindset sorted out now, that whenever I build a section for the desktop, I'm then going to go the extra mile for the tablet and the mobile before I do the section 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. When it comes to the end game and you're now reviewing your website, you know exactly what you've done and exactly how it should look, and there are no shock surprises.